What I'm about to say might upset some people, but when I first told my friends that I was moving to Mexico, they all looked at me with a worried face. They asked me things like, "Are you sure you want to risk it?" Or, "Are you going to be safe?" Or when I asked their parents if they could come visit me, they would hold on to their children, force them to smile and say, "Oh, we'll see." They insisted that I would not like it here, and that I was better off in a country like the United Arab Emirates. My first few weeks here living in Querétaro, I would receive several messages from my friends asking things like, "Are you still alive?" Or, "Have you been drugged?" Or, "Have you been kidnapped?" And although these are terrible comments, the perception my friends had of Mexico was limited. Their knowledge came from places such as news articles or news channels. And unfortunately, the representation of Mexico in the media comes mostly from drug cartels, the illegal immigration to the US, or poverty. And although these are three issues that Mexico does face, they have become stereotypes of what the country and what the people are like. Moving to Mexico has shaped who I am today in the most positive way possible. If it wasn't for me moving here, I would have never learned how to speak Spanish. I would have never learned about the Mexican culture, and I would have never learned or met the people that I have met today, or have made the memories that I have made. I hope today that I can make you see that being an immigrant does not have to feel or be seen as unfavorable, and neither does the country you are moving to. The word immigrant has a negative connotation, whether it is intentional or not. This is because of politics, of media representation, and of social biases. Many of the representation in the media focuses on asylum seekers and refugees, and this creates a stereotype of what immigrants are like. When I first moved to Mexico, I was an outsider in a new place. I didn't speak the language. Everyone already had their friend groups made. But I soon found out that the key to fitting in was through learning how to speak Spanish. And as soon as I broke the language barrier, I felt myself being immediately included and appreciated by the Mexican people and by the Mexican government. When I first left my country, Portugal, I only spoke Portuguese. However, I was moving to Dubai, and you needed to know either English or Arabic to be able to communicate. And despite going to a British school for 2 years, I knew how to speak none of those languages. My school also offered French and Arabic classes. And I think that my exposure to all these languages allowed me to have open doors and new perspectives. For example, from a young age, I noticed that Portuguese words and their roots derive from the Arabic language, due to the Arab occupation of my country. Or for example, if I hadn't learned French for 5 years, I wouldn't be able to understand the conversations at my best friend's dinner table. As many of you may know, Dubai temperatures rise up to 46 degrees Celsius. And in elementary school, the teachers would ask us to line up outside the school building until they were ready to let us back in. Many of my religious friends did not want to wait 15 minutes under the scorching Arabian sun. But me, as an 8-year-old who had never learned how to pray, I had never thought about this, until one day I decided to follow my Jordanian friend. If it wasn't for me leaving my country, I would have never experienced 5 different prayers occurring at once in a single prayer room. And I think that it is experiences like these that help me and have helped me become more open-minded. But moving around and constantly having to adapt to new environments might not be for you. And that is okay, because you can benefit from the same things as immigrants do within the comfort of your own city. Because wherever you are, an immigrant will be there. And immigrants will always bring new languages, new cultures, new ethnicities, and new things to think about. We also can bring new opportunities for both you and us, and we can help you build bridges and foster understanding of acceptance between everyone. Many of my friends here, besides immigrants, have had an exchange year program to either the US, Canada, or the UK. If that is your case, I would like you to ask yourself, has your way of thinking changed? If your answer is no, then wow, I am genuinely impressed, because for the most part, leaving behind the habit of living in the same home, going to the same school, living in the same city, with the same people your whole life, can allow you to open your eyes and make you realize how different the world out there is, and how maybe there are different habits out there that you can opt to that fit you better. I think that immigrants, besides bringing innovative solutions, they also bring new ways of thinking. I know this because whenever I go back home, I notice that my friends and family still think the same way as they did before I had left. But I have also inspired many of them to study abroad, because I doubt that if they didn't know me, they wouldn't be inspired to do the same. But you might be asking yourself, if being an immigrant has brought so many positive things into your life, why would you think that there is a negative connotation? In January 2023, when I searched up the word immigrant, the first example that Oxford Language gave me was, it was difficult to expel illegal immigrants. This example itself has a negative connotation, and it is a negative example that stereotypes immigrants to be only illegal immigrants. We can see this through the vocabulary. It says expel and it says illegal. Expel suggests that immigrants need to be forcefully removed from the community that you're in, and that they do not deserve or they're not supposed to be there. While illegal suggests that they are doing something that is against the law, and that they need to be removed and punished for it. Although this example does fit a category of immigrants, such as illegal immigrants, using this example to describe the whole word creates and further emphasizes the stereotypes that immigrants go through. But if the feelings of marginalized groups do not affect you or do not trigger your sympathy, think about how immigrants bring both economic and social benefits to your country. Many countries with high populations of immigrants talk about how the unique perspectives and talents of immigrants have strengthened their economies. But let's look at the facts. According to the Migration Policy Institute, 18% of the US's labor workforce is foreign-born. And the 25 increase in force from 2007 to 2018 contains only foreign-born immigrants. 18% of only small businesses in the US have employed at least 4.7 million workers. And together, they have created $776 billion in revenue in 2016. Can you imagine the US without these workers and jobs? Embracing the unknown is crucial, whether it is with immigrants or not. The truth is, if I had stayed in Portugal my whole life, I would have never had the abundance and luxury of new cultures, of experiencing new cultures that I have now. But embracing the unknown is applied to all of us. If you're an immigrant, it can mean that you need to adapt and learn and be curious about the culture of the new country that you're in. For everyone, it can be an opportunity for you to look for new experiences and new opportunities, and look for other ways of thinking. But for you, it can be a way for you to step out of your comfort zone, to learn, to be willing to learn, and to be willing to change. Embracing the unknown doesn't mean to leave behind your heritage or identity or culture, but it means to connect cultures and build bridges. Thank you.